Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre will gather with his caucus today as he prepares to make another push to bring down the Liberal government. Poilievre will address his caucus and lay out his plans for the fall sitting of Parliament. All parties are adjusting their plans after NDP leader Jagmeet Singh ripped out the supply and confidence agreement with the Trudeau government. Poilievre has promised to bring in a non-confidence motion at the first opportunity, and that could happen as early as Monday. And just as the House of Commons resumes its work, voters will be heading to the polls in two by-elections Monday, one in Montreal, the other in Winnipeg. The Montreal by-election will fill the seat that was held by former Justice Minister David Lametti. It's seen as a crucial test for the Liberals, while the NDP will look to hold on to their Winnipeg stronghold, but they are being challenged by the Conservatives. There is increased attention on the by-elections as it could say a lot about the mood of voters and the message they have for party leaders. And joining me now to talk more about this, Nik Nanos, founder and chief data scientist at Nanos Research. Nik, how are you, sir?
Good, Roger. How you doing?
Can't complain, and we're getting some politics going tomorrow, which will be nice. House back in session. We've got the two by-elections. How important are these, and any predictions right now?
Well, those two by-elections, very high stakes for both Justin Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh. Justin Trudeau cannot afford to lose the riding on the island of Montreal and La Salle-Verdun. It would be kind of like losing Toronto-St. Paul's. It would be a significant setback and probably even ratchet up calls for him to resign. So that's critical for him. The riding in Manitoba and Winnipeg is also critical for Jagmeet Singh. You know, the thing is, he's just ripped up the Accord. And, you know, the thing is, if he loses this riding, it's kind of like his version of Toronto-St. Paul's, because that riding has been in the NDP column for a long time. And the Conservatives are looking at putting a serious challenge in that riding up against the New Democrats.
All right, interesting. We'll have to see what happens with that tomorrow. A lot of people are going to be paying attention. You've got some new numbers as well that when it comes to disasters. We saw a few of them over the summer, thankfully not too bad, but disaster response and relief. Let's break down some of those numbers.
You know what, Roger? I thought we were still talking about politics for a second in the by-elections, disaster response and relief, but I guess not. So yes, in this survey that we just completed and released for DMG, we tested on Canadians' perceptions of whether there'll be more or less or the same amount of emergencies, you know, these extreme weather events. And you can see, Roger, you know, Canadians are much more likely to think that there'll be more. 75% think that there'll be more extreme weather kind of emergencies that are out there, 25% the same. About 1% think that there are fewer. Also, check out the number in Atlantic Canada. Atlantic Canada and Quebec, much more likely to think that these extreme weather events are going to be even more frequent in the past. And you know what? It speaks to weather variability and kind of, it's like the storm of the century, Roger, like it seems to now happen every couple of years.
Unfortunately, yeah. And how prepared do Canadians feel when it comes to how Canada responds to extreme weather emergencies?
Yeah, we don't do very well, according to this survey for DMG. You can see here that a majority of Canadians, you know, basically 61% think that we're outright not prepared or somewhat not prepared, while only a minority. The good news is, Roger, there are 2% or 1 out of every 50 people, we'll have to find out who they are, who actually think that we're prepared for extreme weather and all these emergencies. The interesting thing in the regional variations, Roger, is that even those prepared and somewhat prepared numbers are lower than people who have a positive view on this. The strongest score for preparedness was actually in British Columbia at around a little over 4 out of every 10 British Columbians, probably because they've been living it, Roger, and they've been seeing their province respond to these wildfires and stuff like that.
Yeah, and they live on the ocean. They have to be aware of things from the ocean as well, so lots for them to keep an eye on. How about individuals? How do they feel? How do Canadians feel? Are they ready at home for any kind of a disaster?
A little more than how they feel the country is going. You can see, you know, basically about 57% of Canadians or thereabouts think that they're prepared to one extent or another. So, you know, we talked about the national scene. That was a minority opinion. Well, this is a majority opinion. So it looks like Canadians are basically taking emergency preparedness because of these extreme weather events into their own hands, according to this DMG survey. So, you know, the thing is a little better news on that front. And on On the preparedness front, it looks like Atlantic Canadians, and they've dealt with some severe weather events and hurricanes and stuff like that. Atlantic Canadians much more likely to report that they're prepared compared to Canadians in other parts of the country.
Okay. Nik, always a pleasure, sir. Thank you for that.
Take it easy.
Nik Nanos is founder and chief data scientist at Nanos Research.